It is time for the United Nations Security Council to act decisively and send a clear message that Rwanda's aggression and impunity will not be tolerated.
How do we, leaders of our own countries, accept this to go on forever and just accept that we shall be manipulated by Tshisekedi or whoever is supporting him?
If power were a game of chess, Paul Kagame might have just sacrificed his queen for a pawn. The Rwandan president, often praised for his iron grip and economic transformation of Rwanda, is now at the center of a diplomatic firestorm that could cost him dearly.
Have been displaced, thousands are trapped in the besieged city of Goma with restricted access to food, water, electricity, security. Countless lives have been lost. Enough is enough. Rwanda cannot be allowed to continue to act with impunity, and I therefore called on the Council to act in defense of the principles of multilateralism and international law. The DRC welcomes the decision by Germany, not a Council member, to cancel its planned meetings next month on development aid with Rwanda and to urge Rwanda and the M23 to withdraw their troops. This is an example of the kind of action that we are calling for the rest of the international community to take, whether they are council members or not.
While the M23 rebels continue their march towards Kinshasa, the weight of global diplomacy has shifted against him.
Thank you for convening a second meeting.
The United Nations Security Council, once accused of being slow to act, is now decisively pointing fingers at Kagame.
That these are from Rwanda, or the M23 are not Rwandans, please.
For years, Kagame has played a delicate game, balancing his reputation as an economic reformer with accusations of being a regional puppeteer. His public flirtation with M23 rebels has now landed him in a precarious position. The UN Security Council, in a rare moment of clarity, has explicitly named Rwanda as the principal financier of the rebel movement. Denial is no longer an option.
This includes both sides addressing their relations with illegal armed groups and the withdrawal of the Rwanda Defense Forces from the DRC.
As long as Rwandan boots are on Congolese soil, Kagame remains the prime suspect in the destabilization of the Democratic Republic of Congo. In what is like Kagame's worst nightmare, the UN Secretary General has now demanded two things: the immediate withdrawal of M23 rebels from occupying territories in Congo and the cessation of all Rwanda military support to the rebels. And as if that wasn't enough, DRC's Foreign Minister Therese Kayikwamba did not mince her words when she called for Kagame to be brought to book for his role in the suffering of Congolese civilians.
We are at critical juncture, and I felt it was my duty to reiterate on behalf of the government and the people of the DRC the urgent need for decisive action by the Council. I welcome the fact that the Council has recognized Rwanda's responsibility for the violation of our sovereignty and our territorial integrity, as well as the violence currently unfolding in Goma. However, words have not been enough to end the human suffering and the aggression and onslaught on Goma. It is now time for the Security Council to act. Millions have been displaced, thousands are trapped in the besieged city of Goma with restricted access to food, water, electricity, security. Countless lives have been lost. Enough is enough. Rwanda cannot be allowed to continue to act with impunity, and I therefore called on the Council to act in defense of the principles of multilateralism and international law. The DRC welcomes the decision by Germany, not a Council member, to cancel its planned meetings next month on development aid with Rwanda and to urge Rwanda and the M23 to withdraw their troops. This is an example.
Addressing the UN Security Council, she laid out 5 sharp demands: unconditional withdrawal of Rwanda troops from DRC, targeted sanction on Kagame's military commanders, a total embargo on Rwanda's alleged illegal mining and smuggling of Congolese minerals, suspension of Rwanda from UN peacekeeping missions, and finally, full transparency in arms transfer to Rwanda.
Of the kind of action that we are calling for the rest of the international community to take, whether they are council members or not. The Security Council should take note. They cannot remain silent or inactive any longer. As I stated in the Security Council today, we demand 5 immediate actions, very actionable and very precise. Firstly, the unconditional withdrawal of Rwandan troops from sovereign Congolese territory. There is no path to sustainable, peaceful resolution without this crucial step. Secondly, it is imperative that the Council introduces sanctions targeting the command structure of the Rwandan Defense Forces to undermine its ability to wage war against the DRC and its people. Thirdly, the introduction of an embargo on Rwanda's illicit exploitation and exportation of mineral resources in the DRC will stem the financing of this aggression. As a reminder, the United Nations Group of Experts report, the last one, indicated that over 150 tons were illegally mined on a monthly basis and exported by Rwanda under the label of Rwandan minerals. Thank you. Fourthly, we are calling for the suspension of Rwanda as a contributor of troops to UN peacekeeping missions. We need to end the double standard, where Rwanda is able to contribute to UN peacekeeping forces while its troops kill members of the MONUSCO mission and the SADC mission.
Now, if history has taught us anything, it is that when the UN, the UK, and Germany are all pulling financial levers, even the toughest regimes start sweating. Now, Kagame has long benefited from international goodwill, leveraging Rwanda's image as an African success story. But as the British Foreign Minister David Lammy made clear, those days might be over. With $1 billion in annual global aid and $38.8 million from UK alone, Kagame's budget is now tied to his next political move. We in this house are clear that we cannot have countries challenging the territorial integrity of other countries. Lammy thundered in Parliament, just as we will not tolerate it in Europe, we cannot tolerate it elsewhere. That's what Lammy said recently when he was commenting on the Rwanda and DRC conflict. And just like that, Rwanda finds itself politically isolated. Germany is reconsidering its development aid according to the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Congo, and the UK is ready to pull the plug, and the UN is stacking sanctions on the table. But the question now is simple. Does Kagame double down on M23 or does he retreat to protect Rwanda's economy? On one hand, he could push forward, betting on regional alliances and backdoor diplomacy to ride out the storm. But that's risky. The US, EU, and African Union are slowly aligning behind the DRC. If Rwanda's military continues its adventure in Congo, Kigali might soon find itself frontless on the international stage. On the other hand, Kagame could cut his losses and distance himself from the M23 rebels, but doing so would mean admitting defeat, a bitter pill for a leader whose entire brand is built on strength and defiance.
And South Africa dares even issue threats about what is likely to happen after that and so on and so forth. Of course, we will see what threats they are talking about. Maybe they should have done that exactly for which they have been issuing threats. They should have done it to clean up the mess in Eastern Congo or to fight back those who have been trying to clean up the mess.
For years, Kagame has played the role of a regional power broker, maneuvering with strategic precision. But now, for the first time in decades, it looks like the chessboard is turning against him. Will Kagame back down or will he gamble everything on a losing hand? Either way, the world is watching.